on our lovely Late IHP Show. Before we forget, it is a wonderful day today, the day out of time. And that is its own energy portal where we get to have a rainbow bridge between us and the spiritual dimensions. And so it gives any person who's in tune with our lovely sphere the opportunity to connect with and clear the past, as well as to create a better future. Obviously, the individuals who are not in any of our woo spiritual stuff, they still can be doing things. They are just not going to actively participate. That's a whole different story. But for us, let's talk about those of you who are part of the IHP 5D mystic community out there, just mystic, spiritual, however it is. So we organize with words in an effort to share. There are differences for those who are connected as mystics, and it's not that they perceive. It's not connection. We all are connected, but they will perceive from a 4D bandwidth. And what I should say, it's a 4D perspective. So their perspective is that there's a good and a bad. And even though it's not 3D, they're still in the perspective of there's a good and a bad. That's why 4D talks about energy vampires, dark auras, cutting cords, and so on and so forth. 5D instead, they are aware that it's not good or bad. They know about attachment trauma. They know about us working through all that comes up, okay? And so it's not a race, and it's not anyone has to do anything. But for our spiritual dimension, FYI, I talk about it with physics, sciences, spirituality, all of it. It comes together here. And that's because they actively, all of those topics say the same thing. For a Fibonacci brain is what I've been calling that infinite higher human consciousness potential, and infinity is in fact the infinity with a Fibonacci. So expanding piece of consciousness right here. So you use your name, of course. I have a human name. And you don't say I'm a special star. We're embodying our body. But on this lovely day out of time, it's been fascinating if you can be someone who knows what happens on days like these. And in fact, there's also to share that yesterday we had more energy because of Leo season coming in. And the first day of Leo season was really great. We talked about love, and we talked about cherishing each other, and I forget all of the specifics, but I honored a friend of mine who has passed away by his desire to leave out of, though not something funny, out of human suffering. And I don't know if there was depression or whatnot, because I was not updated. I was just informed of his passing, and that was 2 years after, because I had actively not touched base with the person because I didn't know them, and so I didn't accept their friend request. And then eventually I saw somehow the message, and I'm like, wait a minute. And I double checked with a close friend of mine who knows the language, and I know he could have, and he did. And I was like, okay. So, I found out this news, and anyways, long story short, we honored love and genuine relationships and being yourself on our first Leo day, and then we honored yesterday, well, I tried to, all of this very frustrated, angry energy, who knows what. So there's a lot of different types of groups. So some people don't know how to process stuff effectively. And that's because they're not with the awareness of the sense of self. While others, they know how to process because they say, oh, look, I have emotions, I have thoughts, I'm a person. Oh, well, look, I have feelings that I want to share with someone, and I'm going to do that. And in fact, it's not a bad day. It's also why we don't call it laundry in our bodies and master, we call it emotions. So some people, they create resiliency because that's what it means to be a functional adult. And so you have emotions and thoughts, and you have an integrated brain. And so we don't have to make it our mission to basically say you have to suffer if you're going to expand, because that's not accurate in the book of those of us who do emotions in the absence of suffering, because suffering is actively done when you're ruminating in your temporal junction, because the biochemistry is one of suffering and fear. While processing, because you are being a person who has the capacity to be here and here with inner growth mindset and expand. At least that's how I use my words here. Okay, so today, but also yesterday, the day before, tomorrow. So yes, every day something new can come up, but there are peak days and not. Okay, so a person who is, if you're spiritual, and you're a mystic. Okay, so here's the deal. Have you learned your own pattern yet? You have one. I have one. By the time you're done, if you are self-aware, if you count on you observing your pattern, you're going to notice. By the second year of your light body expansion, you're going to know yourself and your pattern based on how you interact with and what happens when full moon, new moon, portals, all of it. The 4D keeps repeating the same stuff over and over and over again. At least that's for a 5D mystic, okay? So when I hear them talking to you about DNA upgrades, I'm like, nobody's doing any DNA upgrades, even though I can understand why they're talking about it. Since integration of the brain, when I learn about inner and outer well-being with integration of the brain from Daniel Siegel, studies, sciences, different studies are looking into inner well-being and how your genome and genes, and so that there can be, because your brain gets integrated, a change in. So I'm going to leave that to the side. I'm the pseudoscience lady because I bring human, spiritual, and spirituality elements together, but I don't do the, oh, there's a missing DNA strand here and there and there. There's plenty of people that do that somewhere else. But my point is that you do get to process that which comes up, and so you heal. That's why the good trauma therapists say you heal. You don't erase your trauma, but you can heal it. As for your adaptive child behavior and your maladaptive child behavior, you can also move into healing with that. Now, I saw some comments on our lovely narcissist page as she was sharing a vulnerable moment. And one of the comments was how this person has given up and decided not to pursue further healing, but to accept that they will have this thing, which is fair and square because it's that challenging. But you giving up on continuing to try and get yourself home to your wholeness, well, that's the part of where when Sadhguru says life will keep coming at you because it wants you to live life, he doesn't know the psych education I do, and I've noticed what the ascension energies in any of these moments do when people are walking the streets. Their stuff comes up, shit comes up. And that's why integration of brain and becoming a safe haven, secure base, so learning how to self-regulate, learning how to be your own self-accountable and self-aware person is going to help you. In fact, the lovely Kylie, as she's being vulnerable, she's sharing the ideal thing to do because she is, again, doing some, I'm not going to share all of it right now, but she says it's ideal maybe to journal, to write, but not to pick up your habits and your patterns. So long story short, it is really tough for some people to be in the role with their healing. And if you give up on yourself, well, then you're just going to stay stagnating, and you don't have to. But it's understandable. And so the ones of us who can easily share balance, and therefore we can carry our emotions and our thoughts, and we can say, hey, it's all good. That's why some of us get to expand and then be supportive for people like Kylie who are not going to give up because they're having a day. Because they're a content creator? No, because they're a person who actively is saying, I know that I can move and I want to move back home. Like anyone who goes to therapy. They will say it hurts, it's annoying, sometimes it's boring, but I feel better. Your body feels better. I don't know anything about it that way, but I have heard of those who appreciate it because their body feels better and they see the results and they feel the results, and then they build relationships. So please support people no matter what. As for the ones who give up on themselves, they have a Zen master who tells them all about laundry. And so we leave that, again, that's something understandable, but at IHP, let's support each other to move into our wholeness, healing that trauma one person at a time, relationships. And for my 5D mystics, we heal all. I don't prefer always using that word because it's not broken, but you get the gist of it. So we embrace more of that lovely unconditional love, supporting the infinite higher human conscious potential that lives in every one of us with our inner child, adult in the forefront, and supporting all those who want to join, and hoping that everyone joins, because that's our desire for all 8 billion plus, and balanced ecosystem, a secure attachment, lovely world, and a globe that gets along, and we can all be functional adults and talk about things. It's not about it being perfect. It's just that we can talk about thoughts, emotions, subjective experience in life, and dealing with uncertainty, unexpected, unwanted, which is what life brings from within with the flow, and it's a beautiful flow. Integration of the brain, restorative embodiment. Tune in.